What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about 15 facts about the UK's geography. So, here in the United States, we really don't learn anything about the geography of the UK. I'm going to be honest. Most of us Americans don't even know the difference between England and the UK. So today, I want to take a look at this video by Geography 360 and learn about 15 facts about the UK and its geography that most of us Americans don't even know about. So let's take a look.
First, head to the funnel-shaped Severn estuary on England's west coast, where the sea performs a daily high-wire act twice every day.
What?
As the Bristol Channel narrows like a gigantic megaphone, the incoming tide is squeezed into a roaring wall of water that can reach 5 stories and rush inland at over 10 kilometers an hour.
What? What is this? What is this? I have never heard of this before. I didn't even know about this part of the UK. It's sounds like it's some kind of bay that's really narrow or becomes very narrow and kind of funnel shaped, and that causes the tide to go up. How much? How much does the water rise here?
Water that can reach 5 stories and rush inland at over 10 kilometers an hour. That
What?
produces a tidal range of about 15 meters, second globally only to Canada's Bay of Fundy.
Oh my god, they're showing. Okay, that's what they're showing here in the background. This is called the Severn Estuary. Never heard of that before. This is amazing. And kind of scary. Basically, this entire part of the country, or I don't know if you want to call this a beach or... What is an estuary? It's called an estuary. I've never even heard that term. The whole thing becomes flooded. Does this happen every day?
But on spring tides, the Severn bore bursts upriver, tempting hardy surfers to ride a wave moving upstream. Engineers even eye the estuary for carbon-free, clean, renewable power schemes that could one day light millions of homes. Look north.
Oh, whoa. Yeah, it doesn't have to be scary. Is there some way to like harness this natural phenomenon for energy or something? Well, what the heck? I see. It's that it's that part of the UK, like the southwest, where it really like there's a big notch in the country. I can see it on this map here. I didn't know that shape caused any kind of weird natural occurrences like this. Very interesting.
To the Scottish Highlands, where Ben Nevis thrusts 1,345 metres above sea level, higher than any other point in the British Isles. Surveyors confirmed Ben
My
Nevis's
God.
precise height in 2016 using laser GPS, updating the accuracy but not the number itself.
This is just like cool to look at. Like the UK, this looks so different from the United States. Like even just this right here, it looks like a different planet or something.
Standing on the summit feels surreal. The Atlantic glitters just 16
Oh my
kilometers
God.
away, meaning you can trace a line from Britain's deepest valley floor to its roof in little more than a short half marathon. The peak
This is amazing. Did they say this is the highest point in all of the UK, or it's called Ben Nevis?
is actually the eroded core of an ancient volcano. Its collapsed caldera forms today's dramatic north face cliffs that lure ice climbers every winter. From Britain's rooftop, we plunge into an unexpected inland ocean of fresh water waiting below.
Huh?
Follow that descent into the Great Glen, and you meet Loch Ness.
This is crazy. This is a really cool video. This is basically a bunch of different places around the UK that I have never heard of before, and how like amazing they are.
A dark trench of water that hides more than legends. At 7.4 cubic kilometres, the loch alone holds nearly twice as much fresh water as every lake in England and Wales combined.
What?
Even though its surface area is modest to cartographers and holidaymakers alike, that mind-bending volume comes from depth.
What? How? What? How does something like this happen randomly in the middle of the UK? It looks like a lake, but it's actually like insanely deep. How does that even happen?
Plunges to 230 metres, and the peat-stained clarity limits sunlight, creating an inky abyss where sonar replaces eyesight. Glacial action carved the valley, but
What?
it also follows the Great Glen Fault, an ancient
Oh, wow.
tectonic scar that still causes minor earthquakes today.
Wow.
Leaving this colossal reservoir
Oh my god, we're moving right along. That's amazing. It almost makes it sound like it's as deep as the ocean gets, but in the form of a lake somehow.
Next stop explores why Britain's edge appears to stretch forever. Zoom out on a satellite map and the United Kingdom looks frayed, as though the sea gnawed the land into lace. Add up every bay, sea loch and islet, and the UK's coastline exceeds 12,000 kilometres,
Oh
an
my
estimate
God.
that varies depending on how you measure it, thanks to something called the coastline paradox. The figure includes
What?
tidal inlets and countless twists and turns.
Oh.
The count includes part of an archipelago of more than 6,000 islands.
I thought that sounded like a really big number. That's what happens when you literally measure the entire coastline of the UK, including all of these little areas where the coast kind of zigzags and goes in and out, especially in like the northern part.
From windswept St Kilda to sun-kissed Sark, only 123 of which are permanently inhabited by UK residents. Even
Cool.
at 30 kilometres a day, it would take you nearly a year to walk the UK's mainland edge, assuming you don't get sidetracked by one of its 6,000 islands. And with
6,000 islands? The UK has 6,000 islands? I did not know that. Are there a lot of people in the UK who live on an island, or are these mostly uninhabited? I have no idea.
that marathon of shorelines behind us, jagged rock takes centre stage. Cross the Irish Sea to County Antrim, where the shore suddenly turns geometric. 40,000 interlocking basalt columns step into the Atlantic at Giant's Causeway, the
Huh?
cooled skin of a lava flow that erupted 60 million years ago. The
Huh? What? This is natural? This is not man-made. Is that correct? This is natural? How is this possible? This literally looks like a bunch of steps.
The basalt cooled from the outside in, forming hexagonal cracks, like drying mud, only forged by lava on a geological scale.
This is amazing. Giant's Causeway. That actually sounds familiar. This is famous. I've heard of this. I know I've heard of this. Giant's Causeway. Hexagon-shaped rocks formed by like volcanoes and heat or something. This is all naturally occurring. That's unbelievable. Like, no wonder back in the day, thousands of years ago, people believed in all these different different gods and crazy things, because they're honestly, when you just look at nature and stuff like this, how the heck are you supposed to explain stuff like this? This is unbelievable.
Some stand 12 metres tall, yet measure only half a metre across. UNESCO lists the site for raw beauty more than many cathedral floors and textbook clarity of its geology. And
What?
scientists still study the columns to understand how cooling rates dictate rock patterns.
This is one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen. Like, just the fact that these perfect rock formations are all just naturally occurring. That's crazy.
Leaving Northern Ireland's natural paving, we venture to peatlands that help keep the planet cooler. Return to the far north of Scotland, where the flow country sprawls across Caithness and Sutherland. This blanket bog covers roughly 4,000 square kilometres, an area larger than Cornwall, and in 2024
Okay.
it became the world's first peatland World Heritage Site.
Okay.
Its spongy moss layers are up to 8 metres thick and
That's cool. This is cool. What's this called? Petland? This is cool. I've never really seen something that looks quite like this. This is marshland or swampland or something?
Lock away an estimated 400 million tons of carbon, making the landscape more effective at climate cooling than many forests. Underfoot, pools shimmer between hummocks that host carnivorous sundews and nesting greenshank.
What? Todd, what? What is this insect? Talk about something that looks like another planet or something.
Geologists believe the bog began forming after the last ice sheets retreated. After gliding over this vast natural sponge, we step onto an imaginary line that
Natural sponge. That's what it is. It's a natural sponge. That's true.
sets the world's clocks ticking. Now, stand astride an invisible stripe in Greenwich, and you can place one boot in the Eastern Hemisphere and the other in the Western.
Oh,
the Prime
God.
Meridian, fixed here by international agreement in 1884, defines 0 degrees longitude and underpins most time zones and GPS calculations.
The Prime Meridian goes through the UK? How did I not know that? The UK... You guys have the literal 0 degrees? You have the Prime Meridian?
Steel markers run through the Royal Observatory courtyard, yet modern satellite data show the gravitational meridian sits about 100 meters east. Proof that standards can drift with better measurement. Each day, tourists count down to 1 p.m. when the red time ball atop the observatory drops. The Victorian signal once used by ships on the Thames to set chronometers. From this temporal cross...
Wow, they've been using this to keep time for like hundreds of years. I didn't even know that. I've heard of Greenwich Mean Time. I've heard that phrase before. I just didn't know it was like a British thing.
Roads, we fly north again towards Scandinavia without leaving the UK. Touchdown in Lerwick, Shetland's capital, and you're geographically closer to Bergen in Norway than to London. The town...
What is this? What is this place? This is part of the UK? The UK goes that far north? So, since when? Probably since like thousands of years ago, but what? This is news to me.
Lies roughly 357 kilometers west of Bergen, but about
Do people live here? What is this called?
970 kilometers north of the UK's political heart, giving these islands a Nordic flavor and culture. Daylight
Whoa! Yes, people live here. Look at this. What?
patterns and accent. At 60 degrees north, midsummer nights never go fully dark.
What?
A phenomenon locals call the simmer dim, where the sky glows long after sunset. Despite the remoteness, over 1,600 archaeological
There's even a little castle here.
sites record a human presence stretching back 5 millennia, from Viking longhouses to World War radar posts. And wildlife
What?
watching is extraordinary, with puffins everywhere. Now,
What? I had no idea. What? It's like a whole... You gotta understand, like... I don't know much about the geography of the UK, but I didn't expect there to be, like, entire parts of the UK that I didn't even know existed. This place is so far north that you guys get, like, the sun stays up longer than the rest of the planet. Like, what?
swap sea spray for raw Atlantic air at cliffs so high they create their own weather. Sail 8 hours west from mainland Scotland, and the basalt ramparts of St Kilda rise abruptly from the Atlantic.
What is this now? We're doing it again. Where is this?
Mauna the archipelago's summit, stands only 430 meters high, yet the drop from its crest, the waves below, forms the
Whoa.
highest sea cliffs in the United Kingdom. These
Whoa. This place is cool. This is beautiful. It doesn't look like anybody lives here, though. This looks like a smaller sort of island.
These vertical walls are so sheer that formers nest halfway down, safe from humans but not from swooping skuas. Wind speeds here have topped 200 kilometers per hour, and centuries of exposure, coupled with illness, food shortages, and isolation, led the last permanent residents to request evacuation in 1930.
Oh, people did live here. All the way till 1930, like 100 years ago, residents decided to leave. If you got like 200-kilometer-an-hour winds, it kind of makes sense.
Their homes now serve as poignant bothies for visiting scientists.
Oh, wow.
Leaving these storm-sculpted precipices.
That is so cool. Like, that is so cool. And it's just cool how Honestly, the UK just has a much deeper, richer, longer history than the United States. Like, we don't have random old stone buildings like from our inhabitants 100 years ago or whatever, like on some random island somewhere. Not that I know of. It's just cool that the UK has stuff like this because of your long history.
Behind, we dive beneath the waterline in search of Britain's hidden depths. Back on the mainland, Loch Morar hides among the hills of Lochaber. At 310 metres deep, it is the deepest freshwater body in the United Kingdom, so deep that 1.5 Blackpool towers could stand end to end below it.
What is with there's something about the UK where it's conducive to forming these weird cracks, these super deep lakes. I've never heard of stuff like this.
Surface without breaching the air. Loch Ness comes second, though it often steals the spotlight, thanks to its fame in nearly equal depth. While Loch Ness was carved mainly by glaciers, Morar lies in a tectonic rift deepened by ice, creating underwater trenches few divers have fully mapped.
Oh my
The
god.
loch remains remarkably clear, supporting an isolated population of Arctic char trapped since the last ice age, and fueling local legends of a shy monster named Morag.
Yeah, I keep hearing the word Loch Ness. Like in America, it's famous, the Loch Ness Monster. Is that named after this British lake? That's like ridiculously deep? I didn't know that's where it came from.
During calm days, divers report near total silence. We return to the River Severn, but this time far upstream, where geography turns the tide into a spectacle. The Severn Bore occurs when a high Atlantic tide charges up the narrowing river, forming a single breaking wave up to 2 meters tall.
Really?
Traveling at speeds of 13 kilometers per hour, the bore can cover 50 kilometers inland.
Do people really wait around this specific part of the UK to catch this specific wave?
And remains surfable for more than an hour, longer
What?
than many ocean rides. It
What? What? This is awesome. You can surf this particular wave for like an hour? Is that true?
It appears about 130 days a year, timed around new and full moons. And
No
ancients once
way.
consulted the phenomenon to predict seasonal floods, and photographers stake riverbanks
No
hours in advance.
way.
With boards packed away, let's trade riverbanks for an unexpectedly tiny slice of urban Britain.
Whoa.
Blink and you might miss Britain's smallest city. St David's in Pembrokeshire earned its city status because of a medieval cathedral, yet
Oh my god, this, like, what? What? You guys just have stuff like this? Sure, okay. I'm a little jealous. What technically makes a city, now that we're talking about it? This is the official smallest city in the UK. What do you have to do to be a city? Like, what's the threshold?
its permanent population hovers around 1,850 residents.
What?
Smaller than many English villages.
Yeah.
The entire urban area could fit inside London's Hyde Park. But each summer, tidal waves of visitors arrive to hike the rugged Pembrokeshire coast path and kayak with Atlantic seals.
Oh my god, there's so many of these random British towns and cities that are just like so beautiful by the coast with hiking, and it's just so nice.
Ancient pilgrims once considered 2 trips here worth 1 voyage to Rome, underscoring its historic spiritual pull. Urban comforts meet
Jeez.
wild headlands within walking distance, proving that the UK's civic map is as quirky as its physical one.
I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that city. Apparently it's very, very famous. A lot of people go there.
From this pocket-sized city, we embark on Britain's longest journey, straight across the whole island. Draw a diagonal across the island of Great Britain from the granite cliffs of Land's End to the windswept signpost at John O'Groats.
Okay.
By road, the journey spans about 1,407 kilometres, roughly the distance from Lagos to Accra and back. And cyclists tackling the challenge climb more than 13,000 metres of elevation gain.
Oh my god, that is cool. It's like a bicycling thing. You can cycle across the entire country, and people do it.
The fastest riders have covered it in under 2 days, and countless charity endurance events trace the routes annually, yet walkers still spend 6 weeks weaving through farmland, moors, and highlands.
Yeah, because something I'm really getting out of this is that in the UK, you guys have a huge variety of like geography and the features from flat to hilly to swamps and marshes and cliffs and beaches. There's a lot of variety.
That staggering length fits inside a single island less than a third the size of Madagascar, highlighting the UK's compressed variety. Our
yeah.
next statistic flips expectations again by revealing which river is really Britain's longest. Most atlases give the River Severn the title at 354 kilometres, but if you trace the Thames to its furthest headstream, it quietly edges ahead.
I don't really know any rivers in the UK, but I have heard of the River Thames. I have heard of that one. I think most Americans are at least familiar with the name.
If you accept the modest Gloucestershire stream called the Churn as the Thames headwater, the Thames system actually measures 369 kilometres,
Okay.
15 kilometres longer than the Severn. Hydrologists still debate which source should count, turning this into a pub quiz favourite. Either
Okay.
way, the competing rivers illustrate how tiny upstream details can rewrite national superlatives, and they remind us that geography lives in the fine print as well as the grand vistas. And satellite data
Very true.
continues refining these measurements further year after year. Measuring river length can be surprisingly tricky.
That's true. Like, facts, even about geography, can change over time. Like how they finally measured those two lakes that are, like, ridiculously deep. And I guess they're still deciding what the longest river in the UK is.
Seasonal flow, satellite precision, and which tributary you count all affect the total. Our final fact of
Okay.
today drops more than 2 football fields in a single plunge. Deep in the Assynt Mountains of northwest Scotland, the ground suddenly vanishes at Esachualun. With a vertical drop of 200 metres, more than 3 times the height of Niagara, this cascade
What?
is the tallest above-ground waterfall anywhere in the United Kingdom. Still,
What? Did they say this is bigger than Niagara Falls? Hold on.
with a vertical drop of 200 metres, more than 3 times the height of Niagara.
3 times bigger than Niagara Falls? How have I never heard of this?
This cascade is the tallest above-ground waterfall anywhere in the United Kingdom. Stell Waterfall is more accessible and often mistaken for the tallest, but
This is beautiful. I've never heard of this.
Esachualun holds the true vertical record. Reaching
What?
it is an adventure. Hikers slog 5 kilometers across bog and boulder, while others board boats from Kailasku to view the ribbon of water plunging into Loch Glencoe.
Wow.
After heavy rain, spray drifts so high that golden eagles ride the uplift alongside the water on misty days. It's a final soaring reminder that for all its crowded cities, the UK still hides raw, elemental drama at the very edge of the map.
No kidding. Holy cow. This was amazing. Like, seriously, especially as an American, I think I'm pretty representative of a lot of Americans. We don't know anything about the geography and the features of the UK. So this was amazing. There are so many cool places in the UK that I've never even heard of before. And such a huge variety of weird natural wonders. It's really cool. And the UK isn't like the biggest place in the world, but there's so much packed into it. That's really cool. Anyway, I really like this. If you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave comments with your thoughts on any of these amazing geography facts about the UK or any other cool places you think were worth mentioning. That'd be cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to the UK and seeing things from the UK I've never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.